For the first time in 45 years, the Decorah boys basketball program will be heading to the state tournament. Vikings got there with a 46-39 win over Clear Lake on Monday night. We're with head boys basketball coach Jonathan Carlson, and I know it's been a process. It's been a length of time. It's always been a goal of the program to end of that long streak without getting to Des Moines. You're finally there. What was the feeling like after Monday night's game down at Waterloo East?
Well, thanks again, Darren. Appreciate everything that you do, and Randy and everybody there at Wennis Communications. I was definitely, it's kind of one of those that you're still kind of in shock a little bit too, as far as, did we accomplish that on Monday night? But just extremely proud of all of our guys, all of our coaches, just as a program wide, as a whole, just extremely proud. And, we've had great community support, had a great crowd there Monday night. So it's just a total effort from everybody, starting back, the DBA years, Coach Storhoff and I, kind of starting that up. And that's where it starts is your youth programs. And we've been blessed with obviously some good things happening there. And then obviously you got to have some players and it's a whole community effort. So just can say enough good things about everybody. And, hopefully we can keep this thing going.
As for the game specifically on Monday night, a 46-39 win, maybe a little bit different of a style of a game than you were used to throughout the course of the year. I believe it was your lowest output from a scoring perspective, but it was also one of your lower outputs from a defensive perspective as well. How much confidence does that give you moving forward, winning a game that perhaps style-wise you're not used to?
Yeah, I think substate games are kind of like that in a sense at times, or can be, when there's a lot on the line. Obviously any playoff game, you can think of that, but those substate games are crazy or can be crazy. And that was definitely what we were in the other night. Each possession, mattered, and it wasn't, there wasn't a whole lot of room for error with things. I think, knowing that we can be in those games, like the last one that we were in kind of like that was Rushford, up at Luther. That was kind of a back and forth affair there too. I think, that was a 1-point game. So, take us all the way back to December to be in one of those games where it came down to a couple of possessions. So, I think it definitely prepares us moving forward to be in one of those games like that. And hopefully it pays dividends for us.
The defensive end of the floor we've talked about before this year has been vitally important to your success. How'd you keep a high-powered team like Clear Lake to just 39 points?
Well, I want to give our coaching staff credit. We had not myself, but Coach LaFrenz, Coach Rollins, Coach McCain, and Coach Reinhardt, did a really good job with game planning for Clear Lake. We even had Coach Reinhardt strap on the shoes and play a role with the scout at times too. So I think that actually gave some of our guys some juice. They didn't realize that he can still ball. So, one of those things where just a great total team effort defensively. Obviously, Peepo was huge. His length I think bothered Tavy, kind of wore him down, and then other guys did a good job on their other players. Storts and Yelly and Carson Wemark inside on Meyer did a great job too. So we made enough free throws down the stretch to secure the victory.
And you mentioned that substate game, one of those games where every possession mattered. There wasn't a lot of room for error, and that does create some tension because you still got that dream of getting to a state tournament in a little bit of a weird way. Is it a little bit different of an approach once you get down there next week, being the fact that long streak without a state tournament for Decorah boys basketball is over with now?
Yeah, I think you can look at it a couple different ways. Obviously, we wanted to enjoy it, but at the same time, too, understand that it's not like we're just sneaking in, the back door, if so to speak. I mean, we're 22-1. It's not like we're just, like I said, just a team that's happy to get there. I think these guys are hungry. They've had success in other sports. Had a good football run. A couple guys on cross country, Bennett Schutte there. So they've all been in state type atmospheres, and I think obviously it's a great accomplishment. I don't want to take anything away from that. Not being there for 45 years, you don't want to, not be satisfied with that, but also understand that, the old adage of stay hungry, stay humble, and I think that's what these guys have done all year, and they've done a great job with it. And I think that's going to be that is our approach going down there is, don't just be satisfied getting there, let's do some damage when we get there. Obviously, everybody, when you get to that point is obviously Clear Lake was a great team, but anybody down at State's going to be a great team, and you're going to have to play your best, but we like our chances. We like the group that we have.
You ended up being the 2 seed, and you'll play Central DeWitt next Tuesday. Explain to folks how the seeding process works for a state tournament.
Yeah. So last year was the first year. And fortunately I was able to be part of that process last year, being in the Sweet 16, if you will, if you want to call it that. As far as the seeding goes, so all 16 teams that made the sub-state, there's 8 sub-states in 3A. So all the eight sub-state participants, so 16 teams, all those coaches got together on Sunday night, where this last Sunday night, had 3 minutes to talk about their team. And then after that, then you ranked the other 15 teams. You didn't rank yourself, but you ranked the other teams 1 through 15 on what you thought their record, where they stood, obviously 1 being the best and 15 being the worst. So I think it's a good process. Obviously there's not a very, there's not a great way to do any of that. I know that there's been some issues with 2A, Mid Prairie and Monticello conference teams playing each other, but I think this is the best way to do it. And gives kind of and then a situation where also there's transparency. The state will send out, how everybody voted. So there's not really anybody that can, give somebody a bad seed, so to speak, or try to, put themselves up higher or others. And so I think it's an overall good process.
What have you been able to transpire about DeWitt Central to this point? Obviously, they're still playing, so they're good. What do you know about them?
Well, we know that they have they have a unique talent. They have a 6'9" post player. So obviously that's something that we haven't seen at all this year. To be honest with you, I haven't seen one of those guys in a long time. I think the last time probably we saw anybody with, above 6'7", 6'8" size was probably Austin Fife at Waverly. And so that'll present some unique challenges. They have some good athletes on the edges. Obviously, football, I think, I can't remember. I think you and I maybe called that game back in the day, but I think that was maybe the last time we competed against DeWitt in anything as far as, so there, and if I recall that game, they had some tough nosed kids. We were lucky. Decorah was lucky to win that game in football. I think that might've even been the 12 season. So yeah, just some hard nosed kids, some tough nosed kids that they have. Obviously the Gilbert kid inside, he's a 6'9" kid. Gets a lot of attention. I think he had 45 in their semifinal win over Xavier. But they definitely have some other capable. They can give a McEwen kid who was a coach's son. So they've got some other pieces around them that can hit some shots. So we'll obviously have our hands full, but nothing that we don't think we can't handle.
Big post player inside. You mentioned Coach Reinhardt got the shoes on last week. You going to get Coach LaFrance to put the shoes on this week?
Yeah, he might have to get in there and, just, he goes, I don't know if I can get up and down any much anymore, but at least to get in there and give him some size to go against with some of that as well. So yeah, we'll see what he has left in the tank.
From the itinerary perspective, planning on the trip and staying down there and everything like that, and hopefully it's a full week stay for you guys. Have you guys determined when you're leaving and all those details already, so you can focus on basketball once you get there?
Yeah, that's a big thing of this whole process, as you know, Darren, being part of some of these processes. And we're lucky. We have Mr. Riley there at the high school. Adam does a great job with setting things up with that. I actually just had a meeting with him here this morning, and yeah, we think we have some things ironed out. Obviously, there's some moving parts still, but I think that's the biggest thing is getting a plan in place and giving these guys a good experience, but also understand that we're down there for business, and it's a business trip. You want them to enjoy the experience, but the experience is getting to the state tournament and playing in that arena. So that's gonna be our full focus, and I think like I said, we're fortunate to have some people in place to help us with that. So appreciate their support with this process as well.
Well, Coach Carlson, congrats on getting to the state tournament and what has been a great season to this point, being 22-1, and hopefully 3 more games to play for your guys when you get to Des Moines next week. No team from Wenatchee County has ever won a game at the boys state basketball tournament, and hopefully that streak can end this Monday or this Tuesday afternoon against DeWitt Central. We wish you best of luck, and we appreciate the time that you've given us here this afternoon.
Hey, we appreciate it, Darren. Thanks again for all your coverage.
John Carlson, head coach of the Decorah boys basketball team. Decorah and DeWitt Central on Tuesday afternoon at 5:30 at Wells Fargo Arena.